Did you know that every Yonko crew has a shadow version of itself? Each crew has its own defining theme that it's meant to symbolize, and each Yonko crew also has a counterpart Yonko crew that represents the opposite. And I'm not just talking about the modern day Yonko crews, I'm talking about every single Yonko crew that's ever existed. Oda always writes these crews in conceptual pairs, and this applies to the Whitebeard Pirates, the Red-Haired Pirates, the Beast Pirates, the Big Mom Pirates, the Blackbeard Pirates, and the Straw Hat Pirates. Every Yonko crew is written with its own unique structure, hierarchy, goals, and ideology, and interestingly for each crew we have a matching foil that represents the inverse in all of these regards, with Cross Guild being its own special case that we will get to in the end. So let's break down what every Yonko crew symbolizes in One Piece and how Oda lined them all up with a shadow pair. But first we've got a huge holiday deal for you. Every single One Piece Island travel poster ever is now back and available again in the Morge store, with a major holiday pack discount. You can pick any 4 posters you like from the entire collection and get all of them 50% off. And don't miss out on the new posters this December. You can now get the classic islands of Water 7, Enies Lobby, Marineford, and Ohara. We're even rolling out alternate versions of past islands like Thriller Bark, Wano, Onigashima, and more. And the best part is, if you're trying to catch up to the travel poster collection and there are just too many to choose from, you can even get the complete World of One Piece bundle, which is the entire original set of all 15 travel posters, all together discounted for the ultimate collection. So if you want to treat yourself this holiday season, or you're looking for the perfect gift for a One Piece fan you know, then hit the link in the description below and get the holiday discount posters today. To begin with, the Blackbeard Pirates represent opportunistic individualism. The crew as a whole is the reflection of the captain. Blackbeard does not have true loyalty to anyone or any faction. He treats every bond he makes as a means to further his own ends, starting with working under the Whitebeard Pirates only to betray them for the Yami Yami no Mi, to then joining the Shichibukai only to betray the world government in order to gain access to Impel Down, and now currently most likely trying to make a deal with the Celestial Dragons to become a king with the intent to likely betray them in the end as well. Blackbeard is the ultimate opportunist who will do whatever it takes to further his own agenda, and the crew that he has formed around him reflect the very same ideals. It is a whole crew of individualistic opportunists. The majority of the Blackbeard Pirates roster were inmates at Impel Down who solely joined Blackbeard because they saw an opportunity, not because they felt any sort of sentimental loyalty to him. As such, with this crew we regularly see that every single member is all about their own agenda first and foremost, and they're only following Blackbeard as an avenue to further their own goals. From the very beginning of their formation, we see Shiryu state that if Blackbeard fails to acquire the Gura Gura no Mi, then they will likely all disband. This is not a crew built around faith in the captain, but solely around what being part of the crew can provide them. So if Blackbeard can't accomplish this step of the plan, then they aren't interested in sticking around. Shortly afterwards, we see Avalo Pizarro casually nominating himself as captain, yet again reflecting very little actual loyalty to Blackbeard. And this recurring theme is blatantly spelled out for us during the Hachinosu raid, where we get to see the Blackbeard Pirates for what they really are. As Blackbeard himself explains, everybody in this crew is only in it because it helps further their own individual interests. During the recruitment of Aokiji, Blackbeard is very plain with the fact that he does not mind if Aokiji is only interested in furthering Aokiji's own agenda. As long as he feels that working with the Blackbeard Pirates will help Aokiji get what he wants, Aokiji is completely free to join them while prioritizing his self-interests, and Blackbeard won't even mind. This really applies to all of them, because self-interest is the MO of this crew, which is why during the battle against Garp, the Blackbeard Pirates were fixated on what this opportunity of capturing Garp meant for them individually and their reputations, rather than how it may help their captain. Most interestingly, this disloyalty is most prominent in Blackbeard's newer members. His original 4 recruits seem to be more loyal and actually defend their captain. We've actually repeatedly seen the older members show distrust of the newer members, and rightfully so. We never really see what Blackbeard did to earn his original 4 members, but interestingly they are the ones that actually seem more attuned to Blackbeard's own personal philosophies, whereas with Blackbeard's new crew members, we know that he has only earned them by gifting them with opportunity. And so crew members gained through shallow means will naturally only offer shallow loyalty. That makes it particularly interesting that the Hachinosu raid featured Garp against the newer members, who make it clear that they are interested in furthering their own agenda here, while the older members are the ones who are at Blackbeard's side during the law battle. But overall, looking at Blackbeard's crew, the majority of them are focused on themselves first and foremost, and Blackbeard and his goals second. On the flip side, if the Blackbeard Pirates are all defined by opportunism and personal ambitions, the Straw Hats represent a more pure form of dreams. The beauty of the Straw Hats is that all of them are defined by their own personal dreams in a sense. They're all driven by something extremely important to them that they hope to achieve. However, all of them place their dreams as secondary to their captain's dream. This is the most powerful representation of what it means to have one crew following one unified dream that we have in the story. All of these unique, extraordinary individuals with unique personal drives have, out of gratitude and genuine loyalty to their captain, directed their dreams to become one with his. Unlike the Blackbeard Pirates, the Straw Hats do not use Luffy's goals to further their own. They want to progress in their goals to make sure that Luffy can achieve his. Zoro no longer wants to become the world's strongest swordsman for his own sake. He realizes he needs to become the world's strongest swordsman for his captain's sake. Usopp doesn't just want to become a brave warrior of the sea for his own pride anymore, he wants to do it so that Luffy can rely on his strength. Franky's dream is for the ship that he made Luffy to take Luffy to Laugh Tale. Robin wants to decipher the poneglyphs to help Luffy find the One Piece. Chopper wants to be able to heal Luffy no matter what happens to him. Nami wants to be able to take Luffy wherever he is aiming to go. All of their dreams or primary goals have been turned in service of Luffy in some way, and that's truly powerful to see because it is individualism for the sake of a common cause. There is no other crew in One Piece where we see so much focus on each individual's personal dreams while still maintaining loyalty to the captain's dream above all else. Now, Kaido and the Beast Pirates represent the exact same value that Kaido himself prizes above all else: meritocracy of strength. The Beast Pirates are all about hierarchy. From the very beginning, we're told that Wano, Kaido's land, prioritizes strength above all else. Follow the strong or die. Kaido's own past reflects how much he hated the order of the world that he grew up in, with nobles and class systems, instead believing that the strong should be at the top as that is the true natural order of things. Kaido's crew reflects the exact same ideology. The Beast Pirates are the most clear-cut, hierarchical group out of all the Yonko, all the way from Calamities, to Tobiropo, to Headliners, to Gifters, to finally the lowly rank and file. Everyone falls in position in Kaido's crew purely based on strength, and this is why we see the very same philosophy that Kaido views as just for the natural order of things applying to his crew. His crew members can only rise up the ranks by fighting each other to gain promotions. Even if other Yonko crews like the Whitebeard Pirates do have commanders and such, their numbers aren't necessarily ordered by strength, and factors such as seniority matters in terms of who gets a promotion. Or in the Big Mom Pirates, the Sweet Commanders aren't the end-all be-all authority. We see a more communal aspect to how the crew functions, and elder siblings also carry a lot of authority that can trump commanders. Kaido's is the one and only crew that is ranked so firmly from top to bottom, with strength and only strength being the determining factor, and all positions in the crew being established by the strongest fighting their way to the top. So in contrast to the Beast Pirates, the red-haired pirates are all about peace and protection. They are the one and only Yonko crew that is actually famous for having an extraordinarily weak fleet, precisely because the red-haired pirates do not prioritize strength. Rather, they're all about using what strength they have to protect those who don't have strength. Just as Shanks himself has only ever fought to defend throughout the story, with his primary goal always being to stop violence wherever he goes, be that trying to stop Ace from fighting Blackbeard, or stopping Kaido from attacking Whitebeard, or stopping the war at Marineford, or stopping Green Bull from attacking Wano, or stopping Kid from destroying the red-haired fleet, so too does Shanks' crew function as one giant defensive umbrella for the weak. I elaborate on this further in this video, but Shanks' role in the story is essentially to be the man who has to be strong enough to maintain the peace of the world as much as possible. Which is why his crew is also defined by this value of protection. There is no prioritization of strength like in Kaido's crew. The red-haired pirates welcome weak subordinates, because Shanks' core crew's desire and purpose is to protect. And that's also precisely why Shanks' core crew has to individually be exceptionally strong even by Yonko standards, because only by having an exceptionally strong core can they protect as many other weak subordinates as possible. Now, the Big Mom Pirates represent flawed family, as Big Mom's entire character is about toxic bonds and relationships. Big Mom grew up with a twisted understanding of love, kindness, and relationships. She believed everyone should be coerced into doing what she wants. And so we see Big Mom grows her crew's strength through these lopsided, coerced alliances. Through marriage, she quote-unquote bonds her crews with other crews, kingdoms, or factions, but of course these are forced political marriages that invariably favor her. It's the same way that Big Mom creates her make-believe utopia. She offers a wonderful life to all the people of Tataland, but demands pieces of their soul in return. On the surface, what Big Mom does is less violent than an overt destructive force like Kaido, but in reality it's deeply manipulative. This is reflected in the way that her crew and family functions as well. Because Big Mom is such a flawed mother figure who is incapable of making making real bonds and relationships, she uses her children for personal gain as well, while never truly playing a proper mother role to them, leaving them to fend for themselves and abusing them regularly. Her entire crew lives in fear of her, and while this crew should on the surface be one giant happy family, because they very literally are a family, instead they are the most trapped and miserable Yonko crew of all. Above all others, this is the one Yonko crew that truly despises their captain and even hopes for her downfall. But they are forced to stay, because that is what Big Mom represents. Forced happiness and enforced bonds. We've certainly seen the hate and vitriol that is directed towards anyone who tries to exit this toxic crew and family dynamic. And of course, in contrast to Big Mom, we have Whitebeard, the ultimate model father figure in One Piece. The beauty of the Whitebeard Pirates is of course in the fact that they are the exact inverse of the Big Mom Pirates. While the Big Mom Pirates are Big Mom's biological children, they live in fear of her and are forced to stay. Whereas the Whitebeard Pirates are not Whitebeard's actual children, they are his adopted sons, but they all truly love him and genuinely choose to be a part of his crew. Whitebeard represents everything that Big Mom does not. He loves all of his children unconditionally and embraces them for who they are, flaws and mistakes and all. But most importantly, whereas Big Mom's family exists to serve her goals of becoming Pirate King, to be used as political pawns in her quest, Whitebeard exists to serve his family, as his only goal is simply to have a family. Big Mom puts herself and her desires above her biological children, whereas Whitebeard puts the well-being of his adopted children above himself. This in turn is what breeds true loyalty and love among the Whitebeard Pirates. They view Whitebeard as their true, actual father, all of them from the most important officers to the lowliest foot soldiers, while of course many of the Big Mom Pirates seem to wish that they had a different mother. The Whitebeard Pirates are simply the largest, purest family on the seas and the perfect representation of what an actual family should be. And finally, we have Cross Guild, aka the Misfits. They don't have a parallel, at least not yet, because frankly they really shouldn't even be here. This is barely even a real Yonko crew, it's just a squad of randoms that got together to survive and ended up being branded a Yonko crew. And that's the greatness of Cross Guild. They are a wild card in this whole dynamic. They're the Yonko crew that never should have been, and yet here they are. A jaded, former Pirate King dropout, a solo act who never had a crew and does not play well with others, and an absurdly weak but effective conman. None of them have any business being in the race for the One Piece, and they shouldn't even have been called a Yonko crew in the first place considering they don't even have a real captain. But this is what Cross Guild seems to exist for, to be a haven for all these misfit toys that otherwise have no place in the New World. Because it seems like if you put them all together and point them towards a common cause, even the unlikeliest of allies can make for their own unique Yonko crew as well. One that doesn't fit the status quo at all, but can shake up the whole game just the same. Interestingly, there is a potential counterpart to Cross Guild that may be around the corner that I talk about on my weekly podcast. But let me know what you think of what each Yonko crew symbolizes in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video then definitely like and subscribe, and you can get my extended thoughts on a potential upcoming counterpart Yonko crew to Cross Guild on my weekly podcast by becoming a member or supporting me on Patreon. Link in the description below.